Imagine for a moment all those invisible systems working behind the scenes, the ones that move you, your packages, your groceries every single day. You know, the traffic lights, the flight paths, the complex logistics, getting that online order right to your door. It's all run by these incredibly intricate systems. And more, they're powered by data, by analytics. So today, that's exactly what we're diving into, the global transportation systems and analytics market. Now, our insights for this deep dive, they come from some really comprehensive data and forecasts provided by cognitive market research. And our goal here, our mission is really to unpack the huge growth path of this market. We want to highlight the key regions, the countries driving it all, and importantly, help you understand what these big numbers actually mean for how we'll all get around in the future. Okay, so let's unpack this. Looking at the big picture globally, the numbers are genuinely, well, eye-opening. This market pulled in nearly $19.6 billion back in 2021. Fast forward just a bit to 2025, and it's projected to hit over $28.3 billion. But here's the really wild part. By 2033, the forecast says this market's going to more than double again, soaring past $59 billion. That's just a massive jump in just over a decade.
It really is.
Yeah.
And, you know, to put that into context, that kind of growth means a compound annual growth rate, or CAGR, of about 9.6% every year. Seeing a market nearly triple in size in just one decade, well, it signifies more than just bigger numbers. It's pointing to a really fundamental shift, a transformation in how global infrastructure and technology are evolving. It shows this accelerating reliance on sophisticated data analysis to optimize pretty much everything. Urban traffic flow, global supply chains, you name it. We're really talking about smarter, much more efficient movement on a huge scale. And that impacts countless industries and, frankly, our everyday lives.
And just so we're clear for you listening, when we talk about this global transportation systems and analytics market, it's a huge ecosystem, right? This isn't just about the apps on your phone telling you about traffic jams. We're talking about AI-powered traffic management, like actual systems managing flow, real-time fleet tracking for deliveries, predictive maintenance for trains and buses, and these really complex data models optimizing everything from airline rates to how people move around dense cities. It's all about using data to make every single movement smarter, safer, and more efficient. Which brings us perfectly to the regional picture because, while the whole world is booming here, some areas are really pushing things forward faster than others. And there's a really fascinating trend when you break it down by region. Asia Pacific, it's clearly leading the pack in terms of growth speed. It's projected to reach a massive $17.6 billion by 2033. That's with an impressive CAGR of just over 10.5%. What's so compelling about Asia Pacific is just the sheer breadth and speed of this growth.
It's incredible, isn't it? And what's driving that? What's behind such rapid growth across so many of these economies and the whole Asia-Pacific region? What's often a mix of things. You're seeing huge infrastructure investments, really rapid urbanization, like on a scale we haven't seen before, plus a growing middle class in many of these nations. All of that creates this immense demand for better, more efficient transportation. Combine that with a real embrace of digital transformation, these ambitious smart city projects. It just creates this perfect environment for analytic solutions to really take off. So this isn't just a region growing, it's fundamentally modernizing how it handles mobility and doing it incredibly quickly.
And if we zoom in even closer on Asia Pacific, certain countries really stand out. India, for instance, is showing the highest country's AGR globally, an amazing 11.4%. So that means it's projected to grow from, around 775 million in 2021 to over 2.8 billion by 2033. That's clearly a nation aggressively using data to manage its huge urbanization, its complex logistics. It's fundamentally changing daily commutes and supply chains for millions.
And the impact is just profound there. Then you also see China, which leads in just the absolute size of the market within the region. China's forecasted to hit nearly $5.4 billion by 2033, still with a very strong 10.7% CAGR. It just speaks to the sheer scale of China's transportation challenges and its commitment to building out that digital infrastructure.
Right, and other key players there too. Singapore, also showing really significant growth, 10.8% CAGR, hitting over 800 million by 2033. And we shouldn't forget the broader Southeast Asia region, growing strongly at 11.3% CAGR, projected to cross $1 billion by 2033. It's just, a region defined by dynamic, fast modernization.
Okay, so if Asia Pacific is the rocket ship in terms of growth speed, where does the established giant stand? Let's pivot to North America. This region still holds the #1 spot. It's the largest market overall, projected to reach over $21.3 billion by 2033 with a solid 9.1% CAGR. Yeah, and what's really fascinating here is how the United States The biggest piece of that North American pie, it maintains a really robust 9% CAGR, almost 9.1%. It's projected to grow from nearly $6.3 billion back in 2021 to a massive $17.7 billion by 2033. So that shows continued significant investment and adoption of these systems, even in what you'd call a mature, already established market. It proves it's not just about building new stuff, but about making the existing systems way, way smarter. And we also see Canada with a slightly higher CAGR, just over 10%, and Mexico growing around 9.4%. So it's strong, broad growth across North America.
That's such a critical point, isn't it? That resilience of growth, even in those mature markets. So, okay, what does this all mean for Europe? How does Europe stack up? Europe's overall market path is significant, too, projected to reach over $11.4 billion by 2033, with a CAGR pretty similar to North America, about 9.1%.
It is interesting, though, to see the diversity within Europe. Germany's definitely playing a leading role there, with a nearly 9.9% CAGR, growing to almost $2.5 billion by 2033. And that kind of reflects its strong industrial base, its focus on advanced manufacturing, logistics. The UK and Spain also stand out. Pretty healthy growth rates, around 9.4, 9.5% CAGR respectively. But then you also see some comparatively lower rates, like Russia at around 7.8% CAGR and Luxembourg around 7.6%. So this really highlights how different economic situations, regulations, even the existing infrastructure can influence how quickly these transport systems and analytics get adopted, even within one continent. It's definitely not a uniform picture, more like a patchwork of growth stories, each with its own drivers, its own challenges.
Okay. And beyond these sort of major players, there are also these incredibly important emerging frontiers: South America, the Middle East, and Africa. These regions, they represent significant future potential for this whole market. Starting with South America, it shows a strong overall CAGR, just under 10%. Argentina is particularly impressive there, nearly 10.5% CGR, projected to hit almost $750 million by 2033. Brazil, maybe not the highest growth rate in the region, but it leads in terms of market size, which shows its foundational role down there. Then you've got the Middle East growing steadily around 9.8% CDR. The UAE really stands out there, high CDR, over 10.7%, projected to reach over $390 million by 2033, clearly showing its ambition to be an innovation hub. And Saudi Arabia also contributes substantially to the region's overall market size. And finally, Africa. Now, while it's currently the smallest market, it's still showing significant growth, a 9.1% CGR overall, with countries like Nigeria and South Africa making notable contributions within the continent.
And if we connect this back to the bigger picture, these regions, taken together, they represent areas of just immense future potential for the transportation systems and analytics market. They're often starting from a lower base, maybe compared to North America or Europe, sure. But they're showing really strong growth as they invest in modernizing their infrastructure, improving urban planning, and really leveraging technology to kind of leapfrog some of the traditional development paths. Just think about the potential for more efficient public transport in these rapidly expanding cities or optimizing complex supply chains across huge distances. It really just underscores the truly global nature of this transformation.
So pulling this all together then, the global narrative we're seeing is this overarching trend of robust, sustained global growth in transportation systems and analytics. The numbers really don't lie. This market is just exploding with data-driven solutions.
Right. And it's so crucial to grasp the nuanced perspectives here. While the global market is expanding rapidly, those growth rates, as we've seen, they vary quite a bit by region and even by country. And this isn't just random variation. It's driven by this complex mix of different economic factors, existing infrastructure landscapes, government policies that might prioritize smart transport. It's a really dynamic, exciting space to watch. Every percentage point of growth translates into real changes on the ground.
Exactly. So why are these figures relevant to you listening right now? Well, think about it. This growth in transportation analytics, it impacts your daily life directly. Can you imagine a city where your commute time is cut by, say, 15%, just because the traffic lights are all communicating and adapting in real time? That's the kind of thing we're talking about. It means potentially safer roads because we can predict when maintenance is needed, faster, more reliable delivery of goods right to your door. And for anyone working in, urban planning, logistics, tech, these trends aren't just abstract numbers. They're basically blueprints for future development, potential career paths. They show where the innovation and investment are really flowing globally.
And those aha moments, they really stick with you, don't they? The fact that India is leading the growth rate globally, that Asia Pacific is emerging as the dominant force in expansion, and even the surprising resilience, the continued strong growth of mature markets like the U.S., it all paints this very clear picture. Data isn't just information anymore. It's become the new fuel for how the world moves. It's transforming the everyday.
So given this projected, well, exponential growth and our increasing reliance on data in transportation, it makes you wonder, what entirely new problems might we actually be able to solve by 2033? What innovative solutions or technologies might pop up that we can barely even imagine today? Maybe making city mobility totally seamless or freight transport practically invisible? And maybe what role might you, as someone who's now informed about this, play in shaping this data-driven future of mobility? We definitely encourage you to think about how these trends could impact your own local community or maybe the industries you follow closely.